trade here. She does.
That's
the
yeah. We were talking about you.
everything.
Well, we were talking about you too. We already done talked about him.
Mhm.
Excuse the vernacular. Okay, we're on.
You ready?
We're live. We're live.
Well, good morning, and welcome to Redefining You in the Marketplace. We're so excited that you joined us this morning for a candid discussion with our esteemed panelists and my co-host. I am Wanda Roberson, your host, and this is
Dave Roberson.
my co-host. And so we're so excited that you have joined us and that you're going to be a part of this awesome discussion that we're having this morning. Well, let's jump right into it, and I want to introduce our panelists and just kind of give them a few moments to share about what they do. But before we get to that, I want to just share with you just a few seconds about redefining you in the marketplace and how this was birthed. Well, as you know, the nations have gone through, and we're still experiencing COVID. And during the lockdown, I started thinking about coming out of the lockdown, how we would experience, what would it look like for many businesses and entrepreneurs, and realizing and reading the statistics and realizing that a lot of people that were in business would no longer be in business. There were some business that would transition. There would be startup businesses that will all of a sudden spring up because of the demand of a product or what we've experienced going through this COVID season. And so one of the things that came to my mind is, how do we help young business owners and entrepreneurs to navigate through post-COVID? Well, you say post-COVID, we're still in COVID. Yes, we are, but we're not going to always be here. And if we don't look at strategies and systems and structures of how to navigate through it, and what one business owner may have done something strategically and changed everything that caused them to excel, whereas another business owner wasn't able to tap into that. So we want to look at the various dimensions of what it takes to navigate through this season of post-COVID and continue to thrive and survive. This particular segment, however, we're going to talk more about as they share about their businesses, but we want to talk more about foundation. Because one of the things that I've noticed in post-COVID, during this season, is that a lot of people, startup business, have been popping up everywhere. I don't have the numbers or the statistics to tell you, but I mean, it's astronomical. I've been reading about a lot of different businesses that have just started, and some people are doing well, some people are still struggling. And one of the things that happens, just because you have a great idea doesn't mean that you will succeed in business. Oftentimes, we think a great idea is the only thing that we need. That's just part of it. So we want to talk about structure. We want to talk about foundation. We don't want to talk about all of those things that go into making a business a success. And if you don't have a good, solid foundation, a great idea may start out wonderful, but in the end, it will derail you because you have no foundation to build on. So we want to share about those things and jump into that. So I want to introduce our panelists and give them a few minutes to just share what they do and who they are, so you will get to know them. To my left is Warren Winston, and he has a business called Doing Business.
He's to your right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? Right, left? I get confused, okay? To my right, Warren Winston, take it away.
Hello, my name is Warren Winston. I've been doing Business Unusual for about 20 years. I'm also the co-founder and managing partner of Winston Worldwide, where we focus on global business and economic leadership strategies for organizations throughout the world. One of the things that I find instrumental in the business is changing the way we have been doing business. The approach I'm using is a lot more radical. In many instances, there are folks that might find it unusual, hence the reason why we're doing Business Unusual. But I can tell you without a doubt, the principles work. Everything about what I do works. And so we'll probably talk more about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, Thank you. And Becky Richards? Richard?
Hello, I'm Becky Richard. I am the owner of Second Chance Friday Business Network. I also am contracted with the Small Business Administration. I do a lot of networking and consulting for people who want to begin a business, start up a business, as well as do personal assistant work. We will take any Saturday and make it your second Friday. I got into my business because there was not enough time in the work week to complete everything as a working single mother. So on Saturdays, I found myself doing a lot of business work, taking care of my own personal business, but assisting people with, or individuals with their businesses they wanted to start up or just wanted to have it what we call a side hustle. So that grew Second Friday as well as Second Chance Friday, which is a second chance for individuals who may have fallen on hard times or have been incarcerated, and they need that second chance to find a job, employment, or even go to school. So in my consulting business with that, I am here to present my expertise to the community as well as teach them not just how to get the job, but how to keep the job.
All right. Dave, you want to introduce?
Oh, I get to talk?
You get to talk.
Oh, okay.
You're the co-host.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you talk.
Can I tell them that I'm your husband?
God. I was trying to keep it on the down low so everybody wouldn't know, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not my turn. To my left, this is Candace Joseph, and she'll tell you a little bit more about herself.
Hey, hey, hey. Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Candace Joseph. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Joseph Consulting Firm, which is a conglomerate of 17 entrepreneurs who all strive to make entrepreneurship great for, those that are in business and nonprofit space. I am also part owner of HJS TV, Harvani J Studios, where we produce the live podcast. We produce web series, talk shows, and we do it all with our flavor. Why? Because everybody got a story to tell, and we want to hear yours. I'm also the radio host of the Business Knowledge Broker Hour on Highwire Music Radio, where I get to highlight the hidden jewels in entrepreneurship, because, hey, you got to find where great business is. And in my spare time, I play chess and listen to opera. How about you guys?
Oh.
Wow.
She is a busy woman.
No, that's my turn.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Now, that's what you call a buffet. Yeah. Now, to my extreme left, this gentleman will speak for himself. I've seen him in action, know what he does, and this is definitely someone you need to know. This is Richard, and you take it from there, Rich.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Richard McClellan. I am the owner of Extreme Game Truck Houston. This was founded by me and my wife. It's a family-owned business. And what we do is, what we thought of is how can we, during the pandemic, still allow families to enjoy time with each other, to still celebrate birthdays, graduations. So we come out with a mobile trailer. We have video games. We have, cornhole, all kinds of fun games that families can enjoy just in the comfort of their own home. So, they tell us who can go on the trailer. Kids can still celebrate, have fun, play their Fortnite and their Mortal Kombat and all things like that. And we ensure that they have a great time. We ensure that we make the parties very private, very clean, make sure that everything's sprayed down, sanitized, organized, and we just do a bunch of things. We've been out to schools where schools have their own private events, and we just make sure that everyone has an extreme gaming fun and game time.
Great stuff. And if I just may, in the audience is his partner. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that in for good measure.
Well, as you can see, we have just a wide variety of expertise and talent up here on the stage. One of the things that you may not know about my husband and myself, we've been in business for over, 30 years?
Very close to it.
Yeah, so over 30 years. And one of the things that we've done, my husband is an oil and gas consultant, and he does offshore financing. Mainly we deal with third world nations, and I don't know anything about all of that. What I do is handle the books. I make sure that we get paid. Okay, that's my job. I run it from an administrative perspective, and so we own a for-profit corporation and two nonprofit corporations. So we've had experience on both sides of the fence for-profit and nonprofit. And I want to interject this, and you guys we'll jump in here. But one of the challenges in running a business, especially when you are a small business owner, is handling so many tasks at the same time. You're kind of like an octopus. I don't know about you guys, but over the years, sometimes it feels like we have to have our hands in everything. So how do you manage that on a daily, weekly basis? Why don't you jump in, Becky?
Well, I like to say, when you have a lot of items on your plate, you have to have structure. You have to block out certain time during the day specifically for that project. If you know you have something on the table, you have to stick to it. You must have discipline when owning and running a business. And yes, it can overflow. If it overflows, you don't get everything done, put that at the top of the list for the next day. And that will streamline you as far as your discipline in your business.
Awesome.
Good.
Dave, you want to jump in? And same question, just, to redirect it.
I'm lost because I got stuck. I'm a real structured kind of person, and so I got kind of immersed in that. What about you, Candace? How do you handle things like that?
I can honestly say for me, I use the 20-minute method. So I write out the to-do list and I look at things in the space of time. What can I do on this particular project in 20 minutes? Because you think about it, like you said, we're octopuses. We're a little bit of everywhere. So if I have to return phone calls, how many phone calls can I return in 20 minutes? Okay, I need to update my calendar based on my email and requests. Let me take 20 minutes and do that. So that way we're not tied down, because a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, look, you get excited about everything regarding business. So to me, I use the 20-minute method because it also gives me breaks during the day, but then I can also look at it and say, okay, I could make this call, like Becky said, I'll put this on a list for tomorrow. So that way I'm not bogged down into the everyday, but then I'm touching a little bit of everything at the same time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now that's really good. I know some of you may be wondering about the octopus. We're talking about multitasking here, and let's be real about it. Not everybody is good at multitasking. You've got to have a special skill set, or it's got to be developed when it comes to multitasking. And some of you may not be entrepreneurs. You may just be a business person. But nevertheless, what you want to do is extract what you're hearing to be able to apply it to your life to make it work for you. You've got successful people speaking to you, so that's an interjection that you can use, and I hope you got injected.
I think that's awesome. Richard, I want to throw this question out to you. I understand that with your business, because you are unlike Candace, who has a consultant business, so you have an actual product, and Becky has a consultant. Warren has pretty much consultancy, but you have an actual truck, an actual physical truck. How do you manage that with, we're in a COVID society, and so you still have all of these quote-unquote restraints that are there, but yet at the same time, you've got to get your business out there because you don't make money if your truck is sitting at home.
Right.
So how have you been able to navigate through this COVID season with that?
So one of the things that I've had to teach myself, because one of the things is I was very strict in time management. But what I had to teach myself, especially doing now, is I have to be very open and free-flowing for other people. In my industry, what it is you're pretty much, you're not waiting on phone calls, but you have to wait on phone calls. So you have to be on their time.
Yes.
And, if you're not on their time, then you miss their money. And so that was one of the things, especially with us starting out, we didn't want to miss customers. We wanted to make sure that our brand was a good brand. We put our name out there. So I just made myself available. And I took all phone calls that I could take. We sat down, and my wife, she sat down and, okay, this is what COVID protocol says. This is what we're going to do. And so we make sure we have our, our mask, required signs on there. We make sure that we have our Clorox and everything, wipes. Everything's cleaned down to the T, and we make sure that we also give the parent or the person that's hosting us the opportunity to run the party, they want to run it. Obviously, you know, me and my wife, we decided to go get vaccinated so that everyone feels safe with us. We decided to go get vaccinated. We make sure that we wear our mask and that we stay pretty much about 6 feet away from people unless we need to get close to them, just so that people can feel more comfortable. And then as, you know, we get out of the post-COVID, as we come into post-COVID, and people get more comfortable, then, you know, we start interjecting and start, you know, just playing around with people more frequently.
Okay,
So that's how we were able to manage through.
great.
And we know this one from personal experience. I'd like to just jump in here and kind of flip the script. I want to come over to Warren because he's been on the block a minute, and he's had a little taste of both worlds. Warren, you are doing international business now, and it's unusual. What is the difference, and is there an advantage, or would you more profitable? You're going to have to take all this and make it one answer, but for international as opposed to being domestic.
Well, there's definitely a difference between the two. Internationally, the biggest challenge for COVID is travel restrictions and being able to make sure we cover ourselves. So the change has been more of a Zoom environment, more of a virtual environment than it's ever been before. Domestically, it's actually, believe it or not, it seems like it's easier to travel. And domestically, I probably do about 100,000 airline miles a year, which is ridiculous. But the government has the restrictions on the airlines. I actually feel safer in on a plane than I do in a hotel. But that's another story for another time. So ultimately, to kind of address your question, internationally there are restrictions in terms of travel, but ultimately at the end of the day, when it comes to business, they're still driving business. They're still focusing on business. They're still, the only change is not being able to have that face-to-face, that touch.
Is there any money in it? Would you say to
well, yeah, actually,
here,
yes,
yeah.
because the money right now is on the international side. There is a huge drive right now for international business, more so than ever before. There are certain continents, Africa being one of them. Africa is literally working on the program. It's called Africa 2063, which is an initiative that they're driving right now where they are looking to do a major push in their economic and their environmental systems. The United Nations has a push over the next 10 years where there's a 16-point initiative, everything from economic growth to education and because the United Nations is focusing on it as a whole on a global perspective, those are the areas that people should really focus on. I'm going to encourage them to look up the Global Sustainability Project because that is the main project where it's driving business from the United States outward and vice versa. So there is money in terms of opportunity in education, in economics, in our media, in the list goes on and on and on.
So are you saying to me somebody like Richard, let's say he wants to go and open up internationally, there would be a demand for him, or let's say a Candace or a Becky for what they do?
There's an opportunity from his perspective, maybe not so much on the equipment as much as it is the idea, and being able to help press the idea, possibly franchising, possibly opportunities and partnerships, things along those lines where you can show them how it can be done. Your idea is a very unique idea. There is opportunity there. Are there infrastructure challenges? There might be, but that can be addressed as well. So for all of us, for everything that we do, there are opportunities right now to drive a business, whether you are a brick and mortar, whether you are a product or service, or whether it's on the consulting side. Yes, absolutely.
Can I piggyback on that a little bit?
Sure.
In the space of international business, he is absolutely correct. I get to speak a lot, on, like you said, the different Zoom conferences and things like that, and I do that on an international scale. I also have clients in London, Australia, Jamaica, Canada, France. So it's kind of like, look, you just got to be on the right time zone in order to get the business. But I will say this. He is absolutely correct in the space of pushing big business. I've been invited next summer to go to Ghana to teach entrepreneurship
Go there,
classes
go
to the
there.
youth.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm working with a group in Paris, France right now, and I'm also working with some people in Stockholm, Sweden right now in the space of consulting work on how they can open their businesses there. Now, a lot of times people get scared about international because they think about the rules, regulations, what goes on, but at the same time, you have to remember we're part of a global society.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner, you have to think globally. So I tell everybody, go into business with community in mind, how to become a better global citizen, but just operate locally. So
That is,
Right.
that
that's-
is
that's-
great,
Exactly.
great
yeah,
statement.
that's how I do it. And you'll be surprised how many people that I get calls from to help them put together women's conferences, podcasts, talk shows, web series, internationally. And yeah, he's absolutely correct. International business is great. Most people say, why are you a night owl? I said, because when it's time for us to go to
Time zone,
sleep,
yeah.
it's
They're
time
up.
for them to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, I just did a speech in India last week. I think I was at my desk in my office at like 6 a.m. with my coffee, like, okay, all right, let's go. But my speaking time in India was the next day
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
So, look, business is out there. You just have to put yourself in spaces. He's absolutely correct about the initiatives. You got to go for them. And the thing about it is, people think because you're a small business, you can't apply. You can apply and get paid through the government for those opportunities. And it could be something as simple as you doing research. Is there.
I think,
It's
can,
there.
can I jump in? Amazing, simply amazing. And Warren, I mean, opening that up, I keep hearing, and one of the things that my husband and I have pushed for years is diversification. I think as small business owners, especially us, we get locked into, this is my little sphere, this is my world, and I can't reach beyond that. I don't know anyone in Ghana. I don't know anyone in Africa. I don't know anyone in Australia. I'm not sure I can go there and do it. Well, it's called research. It's called tapping into the right people. It is called networking. And if you're going to grow, remember, our world, although it seems extremely large, it is very small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And think about it, just in this short space of time, since March of 2020, when the whole world went on lockdown, how our world became very small as a result of something that we are told happened in China. It affected the entire world. So our world is very, very small. But we have to learn how to tap into that. And one of the things that Candace brought up that I thought I want to explore for a little bit is that she talked about the different entities that are out there, like going through the government for funding or the various things, even with Becky, who works with the SBA. And one of the things that happens with us is we don't, as people of color, a lot of times it's resources. It's just, it comes down to, we're not successful, not because we don't have great ideas, not because we don't know our product, not because of other things, but it's resources. Not having the right resources at our fingertip, and then knowing how to access those resources. So all of these people here on this panel have access to resources. I know even with Richard, I want him to, and we're going to come back and touch on that in just a few, because he started as a franchise owner. Not many people of color understand the whole franchise market. They don't get into that because that's not something, you think of franchise, I need big, big, big bucks. When you can actually start a franchise with maybe $10,000. You don't need big bucks. I mean, now the bigger, if you want to go for McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and those.
Actually,
yeah.
Chick-fil-A, that is
It's
the
one of the
entrance, but
cheapest.
that's the entry level, $10,000.
Yeah.
That's why they have such a
For-
long
for a
line
lot
of
of
people
them.
trying to get in.
Yeah.
It is. For us, I know we started about 15,000. And to a lot of people, especially where I come from, I grew up in Alief, Texas, 15,000 is a lot. So to me, I just had to learn, okay, this is what I really want. I really want to do this. Okay, I can't buy these Jordans. Okay, I can't buy this. I can't go out eat here. We got food at home. We just bought $200 worth of groceries. Let's go home and eat.
That's
And we
right.
save that up, and then we go, we start the franchise, and then we start to realize that, okay, this is a passion that we have. This is what we want to do. We have to do it.
That's great.
So
great.
I wanted to just kind of pull Becky in because we're talking about opportunities And one of the key challenges you've also heard come out of the mouths here is money. Can you help us access some money?
Yes, and I want to say this to tap into what Candace and Mr. Warren were saying earlier. One thing, when you're dealing with businesses or people internationally, that 20-minute span, like you said, you have that checklist. Learn another language. Other cultures, other people in other countries are pleased to hear you say hello in their language.
Yeah.
It opens the door. It breaks that ceiling, and they're more adaptable to you
Yes.
and welcoming
Yes.
to you to do business with you. If you have someone in Ghana and you say hello, you have someone in Africa and you say "Kedo aduma," hello, how are you? So they are more welcoming in business. So learn another language. Learn that Spanish. Learn that French. Learn Dutch. It's easy. There are so many tools out there. But in doing business and accessing the money, we feel, or there are small business owners who feel, I have to go get a big loan. My credit is not good. What do I do? Do I go to the SBA? Do I go to my local bank to get the money? Money management starts in your personal life first. Like you said, eat at home. You have to be strict. When you are owning a business, and this is what you want to do, this is your talent, you must be strict with your finances and how you govern in your own households. Accessing the money. Work on your personal credit. It takes a few minutes. There are companies out there that would do it, and then there's you. Access it through the websites yourself. Do your personal disputes. Do not be afraid of it. That glass ceiling is not there anymore. It's an illusion. We have more access to resources as small business owners and individuals than our parents did before us.
That's true.
It's just a matter of sitting down and using that 20 minutes to do it. Go to your local bank. If you have a negative credit score, let's say in the 400s, sit down with the financial advisor and say, this is my short-term goal, here is my long-term goal, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to grow my business. That financial advisor will walk you through each step. And failure is success, because if you do not fail, you will never know how successful you're going to be.
Good.
Access the money. Go to the bank. Go to the government websites. SBA.gov. For minorities, there's a lot of money out there. Not just the disaster money. There's other money. You have to keep your books. If you don't know how to keep your books, get you a certified public accountant.
Yes.
Someone who really knows how to do taxes and cater to you. You may be a sole proprietor. You may have a LLC. You may have a nonprofit. You may have a nonprofit 501c3, but then there are some that have a 501c4. There's more than just a 501c3. Get your permits. Do your research. If you have a hard time saying, I don't understand that, well, call Becky at Second Friday. I'll be happy to assist you.
Awesome. Now, I told you that sitting on this panel here is a wealth of information, and I'm just so excited to have each and every one of you, because you bring a different perspective, and we can all look at it from a different paradigm, and it helps to shift our paradigm. One of the things I want to segue into is, and Becky kind of brought us to that point, is discussing foundation. One of the things that I'm seeing among young entrepreneurs, young business owners, is that they get an idea and they're like so excited and they start their business, but they have no business acumen, they have no training, they have no foundation. And 3 years down the road, sometimes not even a year down the road, they find themselves in trouble because they didn't establish it properly. A lot of them don't even go get a DBA, or they don't know how to set it up as a LLC or a corporation, an S Corp or C Corp or whatever it is, and you're finding a partnership. These are all things that you need to look at before you start a business. Sit down, write it out, count up the cost as to what it's going to take for you to succeed, and then start working it. I think and so a lot of times we say, well, I don't have anyone to help me. There's no one there. Well, let me tell you something. If you're going to have a business, invest in yourself. It starts with you. You have to take your resources first. Who will invest in you if you won't invest in yourself? So if you got $1,000, well, I don't want to spend my money, and but you need to go get it structured first. Pay for that accountant, that CPA, pay that attorney to draw up the paperwork. You have got to invest in yourself. So I want these guys to kind of touch on that. I know Candace her background is also in accounting, right? And
That's correct.
And helping businesses establish foundationally. So Candace, can you lead us out and just kind of touch on some things in that area?
Okay, well, the first thing that I usually work with someone one-on-one is I ask them about their mindset. Because a lot of times people don't realize the foundation of being a great business owner is that you have to have an entrepreneurship mindset. And most people say, okay, well, what do you mean? It's like, okay, when you jump out, are you jumping out based off of desperation? Or are you actually trying to make a change? What's your impact? What's your end goal when starting a business? So a lot of times I start with the foundation of self. Because a lot of times people think, oh, okay, I can do that better than this person. Oh, I can do that better than this person. I saw this person be successful. I know I can do it better. Yes, but at the same time, you don't know what dedication, sweat, hard work, education, and training they went through to get there. You don't know their struggle. So a lot of times we have to think, are we really ready to have an entrepreneur's mindset, or are we still thinking like a 9-to-5er? Because those are two different lanes, right? So I start with that, and then I get into the nuts and bolts. Most of the time when people walk in my office, we sit down over a chess set. And I'm teaching them how to play chess while they tell me about their business. Reason being is because they have to understand business is strategy. But you have to have a strategy going in, but you have to also know who you are as a person and tap into that self-love a little bit, because business is hard. You're going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to hear some yeses too. But the thing about it is you have to know within you how you move in that plane. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yes.
So a lot of times for me, I always tell people if you want to have a real breakthrough in business, it starts with the forgiveness of self. So that's the foundation that I work on, because I tell people if you can't forgive yourself for every failure and success that you've had in your life, then you cannot go into the mindset of being a great entrepreneur in order to get that breakthrough and be great. So I start there. A lot of people say, why do people need to forgive themselves for the failures and the successes? Think about the last great thing you did. Every time you're going to walk through a door in a meeting, in front of a camera, in front of someone, in front of a client, you're going to think about topping the last best business deal you ever had. Stop that. Forgive yourself, because each plane that you move on is different. For failures, we have to remember there are lessons within all failures. So to me, you have to forgive yourself for every failure as well, because you have to think about it. You did what you could with the knowledge, the love, the opportunities, the technology that you had, and the strength. So forgive yourself for what worked and what didn't, and move forward, and you can just be great in business. That's the foundation for me.
That was good stuff. I like how you did that chess game in there, though. You real smooth, real smooth.
I love chess. I love chess.
Well,
I
it's a
love
game
it.
of strategy, and
Yeah.
life is a game of strategy.
Yes.
And until you, I think, what is that quote that you have, hon, where you say, until you learn how to play the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know the rules of the game, you can't play the game. You got to learn the rules and then play the game.
But a lot of people also forget that when you go into business, you are the expert. So every day you should be in a learning environment. You should learn every day. You should have a training class just for yourself on things that you need to know for business, period. If you're someone that don't know how to read financial statements, get in a class. Call an expert. People are so scared to reach out and ask for help because they don't want people to, oh, I don't want someone to know that I don't know what I'm talking about. Forget that. I'm going to ask 1,000 questions 1,000 times until it sticks. Because for me, how can I want to be a great business person but scared to ask questions? That's how I see it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
You got a tiger over there ready to get loose.
Well, I'd like to say this, and also what that does is it grooms you with business etiquette. When you're running your business, you don't want to be all over the place because you do become afraid. You don't know how to handle those emotions. But when you face forgiving yourself, I failed at this, rather than beat yourself down at it, learn how to master it. Okay?
Right.
And once you do that, your business etiquette will also grow. You will know how to not just play the game, master the game, but then you'll begin to set your own rules.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
dominate, yeah.
I think that's great advice and great wisdom, because we all fail. Failing is a part of succeeding, and you cannot succeed without failing. But I like what you brought in about forgiving yourself and self-love. Success begins and ends with you and the way you think. And until you change your mindset about who you are, if you're going into business with a lot of insecurities and rejection issues and daddy issues, mommy issues, failure issues, friends issues, people don't like me. If you're carrying all of that into business with you, remember, you are the business.
Yeah.
And the business can only succeed to the extent that you succeed in your personal life. And so if that business does not succeed, if your personal life is not on point, if you are struggling in an area of your life, you're going to carry that into the arena of business. And so it needs to be you need to deal with you, put it like that. You need to deal with you and assess you before you start out. It's kind of like with Richard here, and his business partner, his wife, starting this extreme game truck. Well, he could have said, well, I've not seen anybody else do this, and he could have come up with all kind of reasons as to why this could not succeed, because of his own, not because the world said it, but because his own issues in his own life. And so, Richard, what did you have to overcome?
So it's actually a little bit of, I don't want to say the opposite, but what it is we didn't see very many. And so I assumed that it wasn't profitable because it wasn't very many out there. When you can Google Houston right now, game trucks Houston. You'll see 5 of them.
Wow.
And to me, I'm like, okay, well, something that every time I drive up, people say they love, why is it only 5 of them? Is it because it's a new market and people are just now tapping into it? Or is it because it's a market that really doesn't thrive? And so what I did was, me and my wife, we sat down and I was like, you know what? Well, let's make it thrive. Let's be the first ones that say, you know what? This is going to be a big thing. Whether it's driving mobile trailers left and right and we start franchising ourselves, or it's opening up a brick and mortar and we become the new main event, the new Chuck E. Cheese, the new place for families to come and have fun. So that's our current goal. And what you guys are talking about is actually us right now in the game learning. I mean, we're both in school right now getting our bachelor's in business management. So these are the small steps that we're taking that like, okay, hey, if we're going to do this, we need to at least know the foundation. We need to at least know, what a P&L is. Like, we have to know these things. And so we started doing that. We both graduate, actually. I graduate in January. She graduates in March of next year. So these are just little things that I think about daily. Like every waking moment of me being alive is how I can make my business grow, in a sense of, when I'm done with it, what can I give to my children so that they don't have to say, hey, Mr. Warren, can I apply for a job at your firm? When I can say, son, you own a business already. You don't have to ask me. You can just come work. And these are things that we're trying to build for, my family specifically. So.
All right. That is good. I know that, we're going to run out of time here shortly, and I want to get to Warren. But, you touched on something that I thought was extremely important, and something that in our culture that you find, you don't hear about it as much, but it's building generational wealth. And one of the things that we've got to think in terms of is generationally. What are we leaving to the next generation? What are we building for the next generation? Because, it's one thing for our generation
And after a while, we're going to all die out. But what are we built on? What can we leave to our generation? Why do our children have to start behind the 8 ball? Why do they have to start not owning a house? Why can't we say at the time that they get married, oh, here's a house for you and your spouse, you know? Why can't we say, okay, son or daughter, here, you got a business that's worth, you know, $10 billion. Come on, you know?
Right.
And let me train you in how to do that. So shifting that mindset of building generational wealth is extremely important. Go ahead, Richard.
Right. I was just going to say, my friend used to say, you know, he's like, you know, my son, they don't know the struggle, what we had to go through. And I told him, I was like, well, isn't that kind of the point? Like, the whole point of us doing what we do is so that they don't have to experience that struggle. They don't have to experience what we went through. Their life is supposed to be easier as they go on. At least that, to me, that's the whole point of me doing all of this. I don't do this so that my son can still go and work another 9 to 5 or still have to struggle through the same things I went through. You know, I struggled with finances. The reason why I learned it is so that he doesn't have to struggle with it. He knows it because I'm going to teach it to him, and so on and so forth. So it's just one of those things that I hear all the time. Oh, well, the children, they don't know the struggle, or they don't know this, they didn't go through that. To me, that's the whole point. They're not supposed to.
Good.
Yet in reality, they're going to have some struggles. I so often say to my wife, because we've got grown kids, and I say to her when some kind of snafu happens, who actually taught you, or who was actually there for you? We all got to learn life's lessons. So who took the lesson for you? Nobody. You had to learn. So there are benefits, and I'm all the way with that, because I'm thoroughly convinced that all that we do to set up for that next generation, they're going to have their own share. But there's some things that they don't need to encounter. I think you were going over here to the right. Let me just back out of that.
Well, that was great. I think I lost my train of thought because I was going.
Okay. We were talking about initially foundations, and Candace had jumped in there, and you know. Actually,
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This is what I wanted to come to Warren because I wanted to ask you. I know that from a personal side of knowing you, that you deal with businesses every day, every week, where you go in and you help companies that are struggling and look at their financial structure and kind of help lead them into a solid foundation, so to speak.
Yes.
So can you speak on that a little bit and talk about how that has how that has impacted you, and as well how that is a platform for you to help other people?
One of the things that I focus on almost every business, because everybody that's been in business has gone through the struggles. They can all share the same story. It's might be a different road that they took, but they all have the same struggles.
Exactly.
And so a lot of times when I go into these companies, I ask them the one thing about them, and says, why did you do what you do? Why did you get into it? Because why addresses purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can understand the purpose of a thing, that makes it easier for me to address it. So I ask that question. And every time that I've heard somebody say, to make money, I said, that's a result. I don't want to hear that. What's the purpose for you to get into the business? So that's the first part that I start to focus on. The focus on the purpose, and then we start to look at those things. Then what I start to look at is where most businesses try to focus on shareholder value, I want to focus on the stakeholder value. Because the stakeholder is everybody that is around the business. I don't care if it's the employees, I don't care if it's the owner, I don't care if it's the neighbors next door, I don't care if it's the vendors, I don't care if it's the state, the city, the government. They all have a vested interest in the success of that business.
Yes.
So we start to focus on the purpose and move over towards the stakeholder value. Once we start to focus on the stakeholder value, I start to have them shift about being influential. Because in many instances, these business owners are influential. They just don't know they're influential. Mm-hmm. They see their own self-worth, but they don't understand that the decision that they make could make or break a family, can make or break the vendor, can make or break anybody and everybody.
That's right.
And by having that focus, now they start to focus on culture. I literally call this an intentional economic system. And focusing on intentional economics helps these businesses to start to focus and change the way they think about business. So at the end of the day, they realize it's not about me, It's about the people around me.
That is, I mean, that is incredible, because so often when we go into business, our focus is, I need to pay my bills. I need to make money. And, you know, that's the wrong mindset. That's the wrong concept. Yes, you have to pay your bills. Yes, you have to make money. We all have to do that. But we also have to realize that it's greater than just, you know, starting a business to make money. As Warren so eloquently put it, how do you look at the community? How is this going to impact the community? How is your business going to enhance someone other than yourself? What are the other avenues, you know, avenues that are there? And, you know, what was your purpose in the first place? You know, if you started a business, was it just to make money? You're going to fail at it if that's the only primary focus that you have, because every decision you make impacts someone else.
Can I just throw this in there real quick?
Sure.
This is where we're talking about the changing of the mindset. Because in many instances, businesses and business owners focus on success. I don't focus on success. Because what's successful to you is not successful to me.
Exactly.
Okay? I focus on significance. Significance will always breed success. Success will not breed significance. So by focusing on significance, that's when things start to change. And that's what I'm talking about, the radical approach. The radical approach is focusing on the significance. How can I make a difference doing something that makes a difference at a time that makes a difference with people that need to make a difference?
Exactly. Let me throw this nugget out to everybody, and Candace, I'll come to you. Warren said something, but success is different, and it means something different to everyone. You know, a lot of times we look at success and we think, oh, if I have an event and 10,000 people show up, 5,000 people show up, it was successful. That does not necessarily mean that it was successful. Yes, you may have had a lot of people in attendance, but what's the content there? Did it impact someone's life? Did it transform their thinking? Was it powerful enough to get the person to begin to think and operate from a different paradigm and a different perspective? So when you look at that, yes, it is different. Success looks differently. And so I think we need to look at how we look at success and think about it from a whole different perspective. Jump in there for Candace.
Well, I have to say this. When you talk about business, right, a lot of people feel like when y'all were talking about money, oh, how you have to have all these thousands of dollars, all of that. I do a thing called the business remix, okay? I want everybody to think differently about business. If you're a 9 to 5er, let me tell you something. You can use what I call OPM, other people's money. You don't have to have $10,000 to start a business. Realistically, you only need $300 to get an LLC and get started. You just have to have an idea. And this is the thing. When you're in a business and you're starting out, do 1 or 2 jobs. Have people that are your test subjects and say, hey, donate a few dollars to me, you know, because you're a part of my guinea pig crew. That's what you have to do. And when you talk about foundations, get that paperwork. It's important, because an idea that you may have or a business name that you may have, you might sit there and tell someone just, oh, man, I've got this idea. It's called this, 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 and this. The next thing you know, your homeboy down the block got your business name. So get the paperwork to do what you have to get that straight. To me, that's one of the key things. But for me, anybody walking through my door, I'm a heart-centered entrepreneur. I don't look at profits. I look at the impact. I look at the change, because with that brings profit. So I'm heart-centered. In 2020, I gave it all away. Every service. I didn't care if someone needed an app. I don't care if they needed a website. I don't care if they needed content. I gave it all away. Me and my whole team, I bankrolled every project. The reason why I did that is because during COVID, a lot of people, this was their dream. This was their baby. So if we're part of our own ecosystem, how can we create change within our own ecosystem without uplifting our brothers and sisters? So I did that, but at the same time, I taught lessons on, hey, do you know, if you think about community in mind when you're thinking about your project, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're there to solve a problem. You're there to take away someone's pain point. So you have to think about that phrase, and you will get to the success that you need. But get that foundation, get that paperwork in order, become an expert, study daily, become the expert. That's how you become successful with anything that you do. And you got to have the visibility. Because if people, you could be a great entrepreneur, but if people don't know where to find you, how can they know you exist? How can people, buy in? Remember, every client you meet, every service, every product that you give out, you're going along for that person's journey, but they're going along with yours because they're entrusting you to put their parties together, to be that person that assists them, to be the person that revitalizes their business. They're looking at you, so take them along for your journey, and you go along for theirs. That's how you find the ultimate success. And anybody walking through my doors, if you do not give to community, I don't want you as a client. I don't care how much you're paying me.
And I'd like to say,
Awesome.
something, is that while you were speaking, I heard marketing. When I'm speaking to you and I'm telling you about my business, that is marketing. Not just saying what I do, but explain what I am doing, as well as giving that person shout outs or, tell them, hey, go see Warren, go see Candace. It's a network of marketing. It's a network of building. Because one thing I know in the business, what you do for others, it will come back to you. It will make your job easier.
I am just overwhelmed because I love the spirit of this, but I also like the idea that, we're coming together and we're seeing change and we're being the change that we want to see. We talk about change all the time, and change is significant. Change is measurable, but you've got to be the change first. You want people to change. You want to see other people espouse change or do it, but it starts with you. I like what Candace said in that she gave her services away in 2020 because why? She had to become the change that she wanted to see happen in her community. And as she did that, but nothing that she gave away will not come back to her in another form. It will always find its way back to her, and she will reap because why? She has sown. And if you could continue to do that, I think that's one of the things that we miss out on as business people. We look at what we have in our hand, and we see sometimes that it's very small. And we don't realize that. Just that little thing of sowing that service to someone, helping someone else, it could affect you in ways. That person right there may never come back and do it for you, but you don't know who it will how that will return to you through someone else helping you. I remember years ago, I had to learn this lesson as a young person, years and years ago. I was helping a family, and I was helping actually two families with food, who had food insecurities. And one was a young man who lived right next door in my apartment. Now, I was a single parent at the time and had two children. And I bought him groceries, and because he would always want to, when I would cook, he'd come over, and I said, let me just help him out so he don't want to be coming over eating every day. Let me buy him his own stuff. So I had bought him some groceries. Well, he ended up having to move out of his apartment abruptly. And in the process, he called and asked me to go in his apartment and do something. And I walked into his apartment, and the food that I had purchased was not in the refrigerator. The meats were spilling out on the floor. It was going bad. And I was so angry because I felt like I had given my money and my time to help this person, and here he didn't value it. And I remember at that time hearing this, and it was so poignant in that you didn't do it for you. You did it for him. And once you gave it, it belonged to him, and he had the right to use it in any capacity that he chose. Now, if he chose to use it wrongly and it didn't benefit, it's not against you. You're still going to receive as a result. And I had to always remember that when I give, when I sow, I'm helping that person, and I can't control how that person used the gift. I just got to release it. It's theirs. And so to be able to release that, some of those people that you helped last year, they may not do anything with it anymore. Some will thrive and succeed, but that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility was just to do it, to sow it. So that's amazing. Now, I know we're getting close to time.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in here. I want to say to our viewing audience, we're just thoroughly delighted that you are a part and hope you're receiving what we're putting out. We've got a few people in the audience, and I want to just give them an opportunity before we close out. If you've got a question, go ahead and slip your hand up, and I want to borrow some young legs. Richie Rich, if there's a question, raise your hand, and Rich will come down and put it on the mic so we can hear it, because would not want to just take away from you being here, having a question, and we're not answering it. So, okay, I guess everybody's fine. All right, I just wanted to make sure we do that as we wrap up.
Awesome, awesome. Now, as we're getting close to wrapping up and closing.
Getting close?
Getting close, yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up and close.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to mess you up.
He always does this to me, you know? And I can't think that quickly, you know? But anyway, as we're getting ready to wrap up, one of the things that I wanted us to go back to and stay grounded with is the idea of foundation and understanding and talking about starting your business. Is if you're out there and you're listening and you've been with us through this entire thing of redefining you, remember our goal is to spotlight entrepreneurs and business owners and to help you build a foundation of business success, of a successful business, whatever that may be. I'm a background person. I'm not usually the person that you will see in the business arena. I'm the person that is crunching the numbers. I'm the person that, I was forced over 25 years ago to learn QuickBooks, not because I wanted to, but because it was necessary. And so when it comes to running a nonprofit and a for-profit, I know how to run a business. I know how to start it from the ground up. I know how to build the foundation of it because it is something that I was forced to learn. I was forced to learn how to do the commercials and the marketing and all of the various components because, like I said, when you're starting a business and you're a business of one or two, you're doing everything. You're learning from the ground up until you get staff. You're having to do it. And so to bring all of that in perspective and what we've talked about, of course, establishing those foundations, but I want to encourage you, as Warren has said, and I'm going to let him give them each a few minutes to wrap up. I want to encourage you to look at diversification and international business because there are opportunities out there. So Warren, you touch on that a little bit, and then we'll go around to each one as we close out.
This is the greatest time, as far as I'm concerned, more than ever before, than to focus on, and I'm going to kind of steal what Candace says, having a global vision but a local presence. Now is the best time to have a global vision. Where do you see yourself? How can you add value to not only locally but globally? This is the best time to do it because in this pandemic, in this season that's been going on, it has been a challenge for many countries to pivot and shift. You have the ability right now to make a difference in those areas. So the focus now is to think about what is it that you do, okay, and how you will be able to, remember I keep talking about significance, how you can add value to others. Because, like I said, significance is where you'll make money. Success, if you focus from a success standpoint, it's always going to be a chase. But significance is going to breed it. So I'm going to go back to Richard. He came up with an idea that's not only successful, but it's adding significance to others. How is it adding significance? Because you know what? It's giving people an opportunity to do things that they probably couldn't do because they didn't have the resources available. He's adding significance. He's giving them an opportunity to not only play, have fun, learn, educate. He's able to pour into others his time, his talent, the resources that he has. That's significance. Yes. And this is the time to do that more so than ever before. If you're dealing with international business, you know they are begging for it right now. So that is the one thing to focus on. Focus on that. Focus on, and then once you get that idea, start to gather the knowledge on how to do it. But don't just stop. You got to put it into practice, because the reality is, if you just stop at the knowledge base, you're not going to get any further. It's like when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. I did all the studying in the world about how to be an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut. You want to know why? Because I didn't do anything to practice, put the application in place. And once you start to apply it, no matter what it is, it could be just getting into a networking group to find out about international opportunities, finding out about, like I said, learning a language, building the contacts, getting the resources, getting in the door and meeting other people. That's going to start to get you to apply the practice, and then you become an expert. This is not done overnight.
Also, what I would like to say is, in building your business or businesses that are already established, yes, research is key. Investing in yourself. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight. If you're doing it just for the money, then you will not find or have satisfaction within yourself. We are here to help each other. If we were not, there would be one person on this earth. We all need each other. Building your business, international growth is key right now. Real estate, investments is key right now. You just don't want to keep it at a community level. Go to your city level. Go to your county level. Go to your state level. The city has grants for small business owners outside of your banking system. Look into that. You want to invest in apartments. You want to invest in housing, because there is a shift in the economic world right now.
Yes.
There is a grand need right now for individuals to have housing. We do have homeless situations here in Houston, in Harris County, and surrounding counties. You can be that person of change. There are grants that are sitting there. How do you do grant research? Go to the government websites. Oh, I want a grant. I want a grant. I want somebody to give me a grant. Well, how are they going to give it to you? You have to do the research. Well, I want a grant to own a car dealership and give back to the community. If the government is not offering that type of grant, then how are you going to get it? Do your grant research and cater your proposal to what they are offering. That's how you get the money. If you want investment properties, that money is out there as well. It has been sitting there for years waiting on you. Do your research. Go out to networking events. If you don't want to get out due to the pandemic, go online. It starts with you. You are the core.
Awesome. Becky mentioned about the resources that are available out there doing the grants, and I know Candace also writes grants. When we talked some time ago, she shared with me all the various things that she did, and so that is one of the things that she does. But also knowing that if you're going to have a business, you need to become so multitask driven that you put yourself out there to begin to find all the things that are available to you. And this is the greatest time for people of color, because especially if you are a double minority, because there is monies out there that they are giving now to assist you, because we have been economically deprived for so long. So those opportunities are out there, but you've got to put yourself out there and go and pursue them. Candace, your closing remarks.
Be the change you want to see, right? I think that's really what I can say. Today we talked about startups. You can use OPM, use other people's money to start up. Use within your own network. Learn how to tap into your network. You never know when you're starting a business how if one of your friends is an accountant, they could be the person that sent out your invoices. If one of your friends work as a real estate agent, then they can find you a pop-up shop or an event space, right? So use the resources that you have. We didn't get to talk much about franchise opportunities, but what I will say about franchise opportunities is this. If you're someone who's never been in business, you don't know about marketing, you don't know about contract writing, you don't know about negotiations, get into a franchise, something that's already known, that already has a well-known name, can propel you into learning those lessons to be a great entrepreneur. So definitely tap into the franchise market. When we talk about, the SBA loans and things like that, there are lots of microloans out there. There are also lenders. But this is the thing. They also, SBA, give grants as well. So a lot of people don't realize that. You never know how many certifications you can get by being a business owner. And look into getting certified. No matter what your business is, get the certifications. Do you know how many certifications that are out there for $25 and less that will grow your business overnight? Give me a call. I'll send you a list. It's so many resources out here. If we tap into it, we can do it. And sometimes you never know within your own network who you can ask and get the knowledge. I say get the knowledge, serve the community, and just be great at the end of the day. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Candace, can you give your email address or whatever contact information of how you want people to reach out to you?
Okay. You could go to info@josephconsultingfirm.com. You can call me at 713-425-0510. And this is the thing. I'm connected with all these guys, okay? Look, y'all just getting my information, but I'm connected with all these guys. We family now. I don't know if they know that, but we family now.
We are.
Okay? We family. So we're here as your resources today. So we thank you guys for being here. We thank you guys for viewing at home because we are a part of your resource. If we're going to build our own ecosystems, you never know the 8 type of resources each person that you know may have. So you got to Google that, okay? Each person has 8 types of resources. You just have to know what your resource is and give it to somebody else that got the resource you don't have.
Exactly.
And you can be great.
That's exactly it. Richard, your final closing remarks to us.
Everyone up here has said amazing things, and but the only thing I think I could add is it's just don't be afraid to actually do it. Whatever you're thinking, whatever business idea you have, you cannot be afraid to start it. The longer you wait, the more you push it off, the less likely you are to do it. Procrastination kills businesses. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week. And then next week becomes next month. And before you know it, you were supposed to start the business in 2021. It's 2030, and you still haven't done it. Do not wait. Don't be afraid. LLCs are only $300. Just take it. A lot of people don't realize that they spend $300 on a bag of chips throughout the month and don't even realize it. Every day they go to the store, they buy 2, 3, 4 bags of chips, they eat them, and then the next day they do the exact same thing. You just bet on yourself.
Yes.
Be willing to do the work, and don't procrastinate. And I guarantee you that just that solid foundation right there can help propel you into heights that you've never even witnessed. This time last year, this was not even a thing for me. I did not even envision me being up here, speaking with such profound people, and having a business of running on my own. This time last year, I was just like, you know what? We're just going to start the trailer every weekend, here and there. We'll do this and that. And, God has been able to bless us to where, last month we had 17, 18 parties just in the month.
Wow, amazing.
And it's just getting out and just doing stuff and not being afraid to speak to people, not being afraid to say, hey, I don't know this. Do you know this? How do I do this? And just being able to just
Yeah, I need to get on the list for October. My grandson's birthday is in October, and we need to get on the list.
Call us now. And a lot of people.
Give us your info. Can you give them your information?
Yes, so what you can do is you can go to extremegametruck.com /Houston-game-truck. It'll take you directly to the Houston website. Or if you just go to extremegametruck.com, you'll see the city areas. Click down on it and just go to Houston. We are the only one in Houston. So it'll link us directly to us. Or you can call me personally at 346-399-7218, and I'll book your party for you. I know a lot of people don't like dealing with the internet. They're like, I don't want to go through all these websites. Call me. I'll do it. Yeah. I'll book it for you myself.
And even if you're interested in franchise opportunities and how to get started in franchise, Richard would be a great resource for you. I know we use his services here at our facility for back to school. We wanted to do something different for our kids, and with them being locked down so much, and so we did the Extreme Game Truck in August, the
August of last month, and I mean, they were so excited. I don't understand none of the stuff that they did out there, but I just know they had fun. So it was great. And so, like I said, you may want to reach out to Richard for several reasons, to talk about franchising opportunities, but also to book him and his an event. Warren, we didn't get your information. Can you share your contact information?
Very simple. Social media, it's either the Warren Winston or Warren Winston. Makes it simple for social media. Email address is even simpler. askme@warrenwinston.com. That makes it very simple.
Becky, you want to share yours?
Second Friday Business Network, sfbnetwork@email.com, 832-608-5343.
Well, this is all we have. Hun, what are your closing remarks?
You called me Hun this time.
Well, you didn't spill the beans and told everybody we were married. I was trying not to let people know that, but now it's out there.
But I
So,
didn't use the Hun word.
Hun,
But I feel
come
so
on.
endeared. Oh, I really, no, I'm good. Thank you. I've really enjoyed these moments, and to the panelists, thank you guys so much. This wealth of information. My hope and desire is that you were able to actually digest this and be able to regurgitate it, because it will help you be greater than who you are. Because where you are is not where you can go. Your destiny is bigger than what it looks like now. Thank all of you, and thank you, viewing audience.
Thank you for being a part. And my closing remarks to you is just to encourage you that if you are thinking of starting a business, if you have a business, if you are in the midst of a business, if whatever you need, it's already in you. You just need to look within, and the resources are out there. And so if we can do anything to help support that, this platform will be here. We're every other month we're looking to host different things here, and we're even looking to starting training classes for people, for entrepreneurs that just want to come in. If you want to know how to set up a business, set up the foundation, do the QuickBooks, do the work that is necessary, the background work. We have Candace and Becky, we have a lot of people here that have a wealth of information, and we will be willing to come out and share our insight, our information, and our time with you. Because listen, the stronger you are, the stronger we are as a community. So we're thankful, we're grateful that you joined us and you're a part of this. If you want to contact us, you can go to info@wandaroberson.com. And send us and shoot us an email. We're on Facebook at, I think it's Wanda Roberson Ministries, and we're on Instagram as well. So look for us, and like I said, send us an email, and we will be here, and you will be seeing additional information posted about when we're going to have our next event. Also launching the events that we're going to do probably weekly here. We're still working on the logistics of it, but having events that will be workshop events that you can come out to, and we will work with you to get you established in business and to help you in whatever capacity we need. So once again, thank you. You have a great weekend, and thank you for being a part of redefining you in the marketplace. Looking forward to seeing you next time, and God bless you.